Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee of Colchester Borough Council. My name is Matthew Evans. I'm a Democratic Services Officer. The first item of business on the agenda this morning is to appoint a chairman for this hearing. Councillors, can I have a nomination, please?
I'm happy to nominate Councillor Mike Hogg as chairman.
Thanks, Councillor. Are there any other nominations? Very well.
I'll second that.
I will ask you all to just confirm that by doing a roll call in alphabetical order. So Councillor Buston.
For.
Councillor Crowe.
For.
And Councillor Hogg. For. Thank you. Councillor Hogg, I hand the meeting over to you.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning, hello and welcome to everybody to this online meeting on Thursday, the 11th of March 2021. I'm Councillor Mike Hogg and I'm the Councillor for St Anne's and St John's wards, and I will be chairing this meeting this morning. This meeting is being broadcast live via Zoom over the internet and on the Council's YouTube channel and will be available to watch afterwards. To begin with, I need to go over a few matters of housekeeping. With the exception of the Democratic Services officers advising us, would participants all please mute their microphones unless they are invited to speak. I will ask for the item of business to be presented, and we will then proceed in accordance with the hearings procedure guidance, which will ensure that anyone who wishes to has ample opportunity to address the committee. To summarise the procedure, I will invite the licensing officer to present their report and then invite Essex Police as the objectors to present their case. The premises licence holder may also then present their case if they are in attendance. We may have a break at 11:30, subject to progress of the business of the meeting. Thank you. Now, introductions. I'm going to go around the room, metaphorically speaking, and ask people to introduce themselves and are they happy with the procedure. Starting with Councillor Buston, please.
Good morning, Councillor Roger Buston, Prettygate Ward, Colchester. Happy with the proceedings.
Thank you. Councillor Crowe, please.
Councillor Simon Crowe, Castle Ward.
Thank you. Ms Strawn, please.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rebecca Strawn. I'm the legal advisor to the committee.
Thank you. Mrs White.
Hello, I'm Sarah White, Senior Licensing Officer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mel Rundle.
Good morning, Mel Rundle, Safety and Protection Manager at Colchester Borough Council, and happy with the proceedings. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then Essex Police, Alan Beckett, please.
Good morning, Alan Beckett, Police Licensing Officer for Colchester, and happy with the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Beckett. And now Democratic Services Officer Matthew Evans, please.
Morning, Chair. Matthew Evans, Democratic Services Officer, on the meeting today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Evans. Would it be possible now at this point in the meeting that we need to record for the minutes that Miss Murphy has been invited and is aware of this meeting? Mr Evans, could you confirm that please?
Yes, Councillor, I can confirm that Miss Murphy has received notice of the hearing as well as an invitation to this meeting today, and has indicated to licensing officers that it is not her intention to attend or take part in these proceedings. So that will be minuted.
Thank you, Mr Evans. Item 3 on the agenda, substitutions. I'm not aware that we have any substitutions. Those chosen for this panel are present. Declarations of interest, item 4. Councillor Buston, any declarations to declare?
No, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Crowe.
No, I don't.
Thank you. I myself will, as the holder of a personal licence, will declare a non-pecuniary interest as I hold a licence on behalf of a registered charity. Okay, can I now ask on the main part of the business, item 5, the transfer of a premises licence. Mrs. White, could you please present the report?
Thank you, Chairman. An application to transfer the premises licence in respect of the Anchor at Tiptree from Mr. Parker to Miss Murphy was made on the 4th of February and accepted on the 8th of February 2021 when all the relevant documentation was received by the licensing authority. The transfer was requested to come into immediate effect pending the outcome of this hearing. This has enabled Miss Murphy to operate the premises as if she were the licence holder. The police have objected to the transfer on the grounds that the Prevention of Crime and Disorder licensing objective has been undermined, and their evidence is before members in the paperwork for the hearing. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mrs. White. Okay, could we ask Mr. Alan Beckett to present the police case for the objection, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, members of the subcommittee and those attending. My name is Alan Beckett. I'm the Police Licensing Officer for Colchester. May I firstly check that you've had the opportunity to look at the submission regarding the transfer? Thank you. You may be aware that on Tuesday this week, the subcommittee sat at a review hearing, and after looking at the evidence, the decision was to revoke the premises licence at the Anchor Public House following numerous alleged breaches of the law and the crime disorder licensing objectives starting from July last year. The transfer application before you today was submitted by the applicant soon after the submission of the review paperwork. It would be the police contention that the applicant, Miss Murphy, was either an absent landlord or turned a blind eye to the breach of the crime and disorder licensing objective by allowing things to continue unchecked for over 6 months. In either event, it would be the police submission that Miss Murphy would not be a suitable person to uphold the licensing objectives, nor engage in constructive dialogue with the responsible authorities to further any of the licensing objectives. And evidence of this could be taken from her non-attendance at the review hearing and indeed today. The police would further contend that these are exceptional circumstances that would undermine the crime and disorder licensing objective. If I may put that into context, I have been the licensing officer for over 5 years, and this is the first time I have brought such a matter to the subcommittee. It is for these and the reasons laid out in my written submission that I would request that the transfer of the premises licence be refused. Thank you for listening, and if there are any questions, I will try to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Questions, councillors? Councillor Buston to start, if you wish, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Chairman. I took some time to read through the evidence that was presented to the subcommittee, and I was particularly taken by the suggestion that such an objection by the police can only be really contemplated in exceptional circumstances. So I read the evidence in that light, and it certainly appears to me that this is an exceptional case, as is suggested, bearing in mind that this problem appears to have been going on since July, August last year. This is not an isolated incident, and although the applicant may well represent, were she here and doing so, that she was not in fact the person looking after the pub at the time, she was nonetheless the owner of the business, and therefore by implication should have been paying attention to it, and clearly no attention has been paid to this for some considerable time. And without her evidence given in person or in writing to suggest that this is other than the case, I cannot see that any attempt has been made to rebut the evidence that is now presented by the police. Therefore, I find this a very disappointing and difficult set of circumstances where it looks as though the council's hands are tied as to what it can do. As I noted before, it is, to my mind, particularly significant that the applicant has not chosen to attend this hearing. Again, I have been sitting as a member of various appeal committees over many years now in relation to licensing, and I've never before had an objection submitted by the police like this before me. So I view the proceedings on that light. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Buston. Councillor Crowe, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm concerned, same as Councillor Buston, that Ms Murphy hasn't joined us today to defend and make her case or sent a legal representative. I find that quite surprising and worrying. I just have one question for Essex Police. Was Ms Murphy present when any of these breaches of the COVID restrictions took place?
Not to my knowledge, Councillor.
Okay. And what's her connection with the previous premises license holder?
I understand that she operates the business which is M&A Anchor Limited, as in the police submission. Whether there's a direct correlation between the two individuals, that I honestly don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Councillor Crowe?
Yes, that's it from me. Thank you.
You're content? Yes, having read the documentation pack, particularly around the comment that Ms Murphy made with regard to the transfer of the licence, when saying that this should only just become aware of this, when the credibility of you would have to question. Could I ask either Alan Beckett or Mrs White, with regard to holding a premises licence, am I right in saying that if you hold that licence, you do not have to be present at, in this case, the anchor, but you would need to be somewhere contactable, whether by phone, FaceTime, whatever. Is that correct? You don't have to live in the immediate vicinity. You could be 45 minutes drive away or 50 miles away if need be.
Chairman, shall I respond on that one? It's right that the person responsible for the premises does not have to be on the premises at all times. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Are there any more questions that you'd like Councillor Buston to ask at this moment, or shall I just ask?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you, Chairman. The only point other that I would make, I take entirely the point that's just been made. It is not necessary for the premises license holder to be there all the time. Otherwise, chains of pubs owned by breweries would never be able to function. Nonetheless, there is, over a period of time, to my mind at least, a tie-up between clear problems that are occurring at the premises and the premises license holder. There must be a degree of responsibility, and I suspect that had this been a tied house, this actually might have been a problem that the police would have been more able to nip in the bud, shall I say, in the middle of last year. The fact that it's a free house obviously has more serious financial implications for the applicant, which we are mindful of, but also it means that communication by the premises holder license holder is even more important, and thus disturbing. Perhaps if it was a tied house, we wouldn't have had this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Austin. Yes, it does stretch the credibility that of Miss Murphy that over a period of 6 months, when there's been visits by Essex County Council Health, Colchester Borough Council Licensing, the police, and as demonstrated in the document pack, numerous visits and breaches, that she was totally and utterly unaware over that 6 month period. That's, for me, is do I believe that or do I not believe that? Okay, thank you. Mr. Beckett, would you like to come back and finalise your objection?
Thank you, Chair. The only thing I'd just like to say is that Essex Police would have no confidence in Ms Murphy upholding the licensing objectives. I think she's clearly demonstrated that she pays scant regard to it. So with that in mind, I would ask, or I would request, that the subcommittee refuse the transfer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Mrs. White, would you like to add anything before we finish?
No, Chairman, nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay, right. Well, at this point in time, we will adjourn and be back to hopefully not too long a time. So, ladies and gentlemen,
So
I've only got partial screen. Do I need? Unmuted. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to have kept you waiting. We have, following our deliberations, the licensing subcommittee has reached the decision to refuse the application to transfer the premises licence in respect of the Anchor Public House, Tiptree, in the name of Miss Kay Murphy. In reaching its decision, the subcommittee examined all the documents and evidence submitted and considered the representations made at the hearing by Essex Police. The subcommittee was particularly concerned by the approach that has been adopted by Miss Murphy throughout and in relation to her lack of supervision of the premises. The subcommittee further felt that her failure to attend the hearing or engage in the process in any way did not provide them with any confidence that she would be in a position to uphold the licensing objectives in the future. The subcommittee was therefore drawn to the conclusion that it had no other option but to agree the request made by Essex Police in refusing to grant the transfer. Thank you very much. Miss Murphy does, however, have the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court. Thank you. Unmute. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is now the close of the meeting. Thank you.